Hey y'all, I am excited to finally get to recap episode 4 of Confessions of a Female Founder. This episode is titled Attaining the Unattainable with IT Cosmetics founder Jamie Kern Lima. Now, yesterday I just recapped Meghan being interviewed by Jamie Kern Lima for her podcast, and now we get to talk about this episode of Meghan's podcast of Confessions of a Female Founder with Jamie Kern Lima. Two completely different conversations, both equally as enlightening and interesting. This was an incredible episode. There were so many takeaways because, of course, but this one actually kind of had me in my feels. Patreon, y'all are going to see that tomorrow when you get to see the live reaction. But the story of all the rejection and then the turnaround, oof, it got me right here in my throat. I had the lump in my throat. I was about to cry. I'm getting to where I'm not going to watch Meghan and Jamie Kern Lima do anything together moving forward if I don't plan to cry, or I'm just going to keep wet wipes in my purse because they always make me tear up. I don't know what it is about them, but they keep your girl on her toes. So we get to recap this episode. I have a lot of thoughts, of course. You wouldn't be here if I didn't. So let's get started. Thank you for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm excited to finally get to recap episode 4 of Confessions of a Female Founder with Meghan. This week's episode included Jamie Kern Lima as she talked about building IT Cosmetics. I don't know what I expected, but this story took me to so many different places. I genuinely had no idea it was this hard for her to get IT Cosmetics off the ground, which makes the payoff that much sweeter. And when I say payoff, that's a double entendre, because when I say payoff, I mean payoff. Mama hit it big. She made bank and she deserved every penny. Now, we have so much to talk about, but before we get into that, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to share so that more people can find
problems.
this.
And,
Yes.
you know, faith is a big deal for me in my life, but I do think this is a universal principle, whether someone believes in God or the universe, whatever they might believe. I believe so often in our life, like our greatest setbacks can actually be God's setups for what we're actually supposed to do next.
Faith comes up a lot in every single one of these conversations with any female founder I've spoken to. Every woman talks about faith, whether in herself, in God, in something higher, in a calling, in a purpose. It is so profound to me that is the commonality in any of these sectors and any of these journeys, and anyone, whether they've IPO'd or they're on their rise, everyone has this deep faith.
Meghan mentions that one of the commonalities between all of the founders that she's interviewed for this podcast is that they all speak on faith, whether that's in a higher being, whether faith in themselves, faith in the journey. They all have faith. And a lot of times when we hear faith, we can think spirituality or religion. And since obviously I'm a Christian and I've talked about that pretty openly, that is essentially where my mind goes. But faith is tiered. Faith is a very layered concept. Faith is simply believing in the unseen, believing that it will all work out as it's supposed to or as it's divinely ordered, regardless of what happens now or what you feel now. You have faith in the process that it will lead you to where you are destined to be. And having faith not only in a higher power, if that's your choice, but having faith in yourself is essential if you're going to get anywhere in this life. Having faith in yourself can keep you from a lot of unnecessary heartache. It can absolutely lead you to prioritize adequately, because so many people will project their nonsense onto you. It is essential that you have faith in yourself, because no one knows you like you. No one knows you better than you. And no one can tell you who you are or what you can do or what you're all about better than you. We cannot let people get in our ear, especially when it comes to us and our dreams and our goals. If you watch my Instagram or if you're on my Facebook, then you know I've been doing a weekly Monday motivation or Tuesday motivation video. And this week we talked about one of my favorite JayZ quotes when he says, "Everybody can tell you how to do it, they never did it." That could not be more true. And that is one of my favorite quotes, because it just reinforces that everybody has an opinion, and essentially everyone is entitled to an opinion. Now, is everybody entitled to share that opinion? No, but they do. And it's important to remember that your journey belongs to you. Your goals belong to you. And if it weren't meant for you to do it, you would not have had the vision. And the fact of the matter is, if other people were meant to understand and if other people were meant to get it, then the vision would have been given to them. But I firmly believe that if you can see it in your mind, if you can imagine it, then it is already yours to go get. I don't even believe that you can go get it. I believe that by the time you see it in your mind, it's already yours. The choice from that point forward is whether or not you're going to go get it. It's like going to pick up something at the store. It's already packaged and ready to roll. All you got to do is put in the effort, go pick it up and bring it on back to your path. But it is already yours. Having faith in that is important because so many people who don't see the vision, i.e. it wasn't meant for them to see, but so many people who don't see the vision might project their lack of belief and lack of faith in themselves onto you because they can't imagine believing in themselves and having confidence. So when you show up with your determination and your goal and your set path, they don't understand that because they're not supposed to. They're not supposed to get it. So if you have a goal, if you have a vision, regardless of who else doesn't, it doesn't matter. It's already yours. Don't let anyone take you off of your path. Having faith is knowing that what is yours is already there. Just go pick it up and no one can take you off your path but you. Now, are you going to give anyone else that power? I certainly hope not. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in God if that is who you choose to believe in. Have faith that it is already worked out, not that it will work out. Notice the difference. I'm not saying have faith that it'll all work out. No, have faith that it already has worked out. And it's just up to you to walk that path and experience that. But it's already there. You just have to get there. Put one foot in front of the other. You don't even have to give it much thought. Just know that it's already destined and it's already going to be there. When you get there, just put one foot in front of the other. You just bought an apple pie. You stopped by the store. You brought it home. You put it on the counter. You're the only one at home. So later when you're in your room and you're like, oh, I could have a piece of that pie. I'm the only one here. I know it will be there. I know it is there. I know that. I have faith in that. You don't spend the entire trip from your bedroom to the kitchen wondering if it's going to be there. No. You already know it's there. So you walk with intention to go get that pie. You go get your dessert plate, you get your fork, you get your knife, you cut that slice of pie and you indulge because you know it's already there. See that pie as your goal. When you are headed towards your goal, you don't question whether that pie will be there. You already know it was there because you saw it. Now put one foot in front of the other and get to your path.
Everywhere. And none of them believed at the time that this idea of a product that works for people with skin issues, and we show it on all ages and real people and sizes and skin tones. And they would always say this to me: women will only buy makeup from images of unattainable aspiration. It was always those two words, unattainable, which means you can't even look like that because it's not real. Right. You can never let anyone else's doubt about you turn into doubt in your own head. And it is so important to what we were talking about, for whatever that looks like for you, to get still, to pray, to meditate, to learn how to hear your knowing. Because I think your knowing is that is what you listen to.
Not the knows, the knowing.
Exactly.
Something that I have to note that Jamie Kern-Lima said in this part of the podcast is, don't let anyone's doubt in you become doubts you carry about yourself. Listen to your knowing. Listen to your intuition. She is absolutely correct. Like I said before, people will project that onto you. People will project their doubts. JayZ has another quote that I shared this week in his song Crown, where he says, my uncle said I'd never sell 1 million records. I sold 1 million records like 1 million times. And as he explained that quote, which is understandable, meaning his uncle, trying to protect him, didn't want him to feel the disappointment of not selling music. And he was like, it's probably not going to happen because you're 26 years old. You're older than most rappers are when they debut. And JayZ believed in himself. And when he had an interview with Angie Martinez, something he said, which I thought was so funny, was, my uncle said I'd never sell 1 million records. I sold 1 million records about 1 million times. He goes, you telling me that I can't sell 1 million records? No, you can't sell 1 million records.
Don't listen to anyone because their experience is unique to who they are. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then a lot of people will try to put their fears on you. You can't do that. No, you can't do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So they just projecting. They're putting things that they don't believe that they can do on you. My uncle, I don't think he meant not, and I know I'm killing him. I'm saying him so many times. I know he's going to be at Christmas. Like, why do you keep bringing this up? My uncle, he was telling me, like, I'm never going to. My uncle said I never sell 1 million records. Mm-hmm. I sold 1 million records like 1 million times. So he was. I'm sure I'm his nephew. I know I don't think he meant any malice.
He wanted the best for you, but
he just was projecting
believe.
his fears
right.
and things that. Are you crazy? How are you going to do that? How? You know, I'm sure there's things that I do now that he can't believe that I was able to accomplish. But he couldn't even see it at the time. So he was just projecting, putting his fears on me. So the whole thing is just, you know, and always believe you're great, even before anybody else.
Professions are confessions. So when people profess something over you, when someone speaks something over your life, something my grandmother is very serious about, when someone says something negative over me or my plans, she rebukes it immediately. But I don't allow people to speak over my plans without some sort of rebuke, because no, you will not determine my fate in this world. I determine my fate in this world. God determines my fate in this world. My circumstances belong to me, and the way I show up and carry myself, that is what determines it, not your negativity, not your inadequacies, not your shortcomings. And people will absolutely project their lack of ability onto you. And the thing is, what's even crazier is they're not even right about themselves. You are what you say you are. The man who says he can and the man who says he can't are both right. So if someone is out here doubting themselves and someone is out here limiting themselves, do not allow them to doubt and limit you. Clearly, they're not of good mind. They're out here unintentionally using their words as a sword to cut themselves down. Are you going to line up to be the next one getting the stick? I would hope not. You profess what's going to happen in your life. And as a matter of fact, don't even do that. You profess what is already happening in your life. You profess what is. Only you can determine that. Only God can determine that. Other people with the same abilities and inabilities as you are as a human cannot foresee your future. And they certainly can't determine that for you. You are more powerful in your world than any other being. Do not hand your power over.
And I had to step back and look at what I was doing and saying, am I playing small because I want to play small? Or am I setting in motion playing small because I'm scared?
Meghan said, am I playing small because I want to, or am I playing small because I'm scared? That is quite the question from Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, who I would say can't really do anything small at this juncture in her life. Even if she does something small, it's still going to be a very big deal. But it's interesting that someone with all of these accolades and all of this experience and all of these incredible talents and skills, etc., is still calling herself out. So having that relationship with herself where she keeps it real with herself to keep herself accountable, which I love that. I love that. She's not above reproach, even internally. I love that she recognized when she could have been playing more to her fears rather than to her strengths. It's clear that she knows what she's made of. And in times like these, when she's trying to do something that she's going to enjoy, but she's going about it in a way that doesn't necessarily scream from the mountains that I know what I'm made of, and not to anyone else, but to yourself, she self-checked and said, no, let's reroute this and let's execute differently because I know what I'm capable of. Even in this situation where she's launching a business, she has billions of fans across the world. She knows that we're going to buy anything she puts out. But the fact of the matter is, even the Duchess of Sussex catches herself playing small from fear. No one is above fear. It happens to all of us. All of us have doubts. All of us second guess our decisions from time to time. All of us wonder a time or two, are we capable of this at the magnitude that I want to execute? And the answer is simply yes. And I love that she took Oprah's advice. She was able to encapsulate her essence, and look at how wonderfully that has turned out and will continue to turn out. Look at how excited she was to share her new ventures with Jamie Kern-Lima on her podcast when she asked what's new for As Ever. I love that she's in this era of not only building and creating, but self-discovery. That's the thing. When you are operating from authenticity and when you are putting your all into something and you are doing so with authenticity and honesty and you are truly giving it your all, not only do you benefit from the creation of whatever that is, not only do you benefit from the expression and the self-expression and having that outlet, but you benefit because throughout that process, you learn a little bit more about yourself. You see yourself from new angles. You realize new things about yourself. You fall in love with yourself all over again in a different way. Something that I will say is challenges may be difficult, but they show you what you're made of. Maybe Meghan was playing small at first, but then she self-corrected and then sold out in 45 minutes. I would say mama don't have a reason to play small in anything in life because everything she does will be a big
at the time. And I'll never forget, she stopped me mid-pitch and she said, if people were talking about this product, I'd be hearing about it, and I'm not. Yeah. And it was a no. And I remember just like, walking out to the elevator, and it was a packed elevator, and I was trying not to cry. Mm-hmm. We did meeting after meeting after meeting, and we flew up for the final meeting where I presented like the whole future product pipeline, and I thought this was going to be my saving grace, and I was so excited. At the very end of the meeting, he says to me, congratulations, you should be so proud. Like, this is a really, really great product, but it's a no. We're going to pass on investing in IT Cosmetics. And I was like, oh, I was so used to hearing no, but it felt like, like a punch in the gut, because I was like, I don't know how we're going to make it. And so I said, can you tell me why?
What did he say?
Well, feedback can be a gift. Oh. So I said, can you tell me why? Do you want me to be really honest with you? And I was like, yes, please. And he just paused. I just don't think women will buy makeup from someone who looks like you with your body and your weight. And when he said those, first of all, I never even got angry or felt anger toward him. But when he said those words to me, it felt almost like a lifetime of body doubt and self-doubt like flooded my body all at once. So I almost felt like I was staring my own fear straight in the eye. But here's why I want to share this. When he said those words to me, I just don't think women will buy makeup from someone who looks like you with your body and your weight. I got this feeling, and it was so strong. Meghan, I can feel it right now. Like, literally, it was so strong in my gut.
Visceral.
Yeah, visceral. This feeling that said, he's wrong.
Like, we hear several instances of Jamie Kern-Lima just getting no after no after no. As a matter of fact, she mentioned that it was years of getting no's. And we know that she and her husband quit their jobs and poured all of their savings and money into this venture. And for years, they were wondering, is this going to work out? But they just kept pushing. And they got a whole bunch of no's until they got the right yes. But something that I want to talk about here is the perseverance, the idea that she's not only getting no's, she's getting flagrant no's. She's getting no's that are, in my opinion, just tacky. The fact that this person said that women would not buy makeup from someone who, with her body and her weight, I wanted to kick that man in the throat with a combat boot. I cannot believe someone would open their nasty, raggedy mouth and say something like that to someone else. And also, bruh, you don't know women. But to say that we wouldn't, and clearly we would, because we do. And that's exactly why I say a bunch of the people in these rooms in positions of authority and positions of decision making and sitting at these tables who we might be intimidated to sit next to or present in front of, a lot of these people are idiots. If I took something away from corporate, it's that most of those people, while they might be highly educated and have all this experience and all this blah, 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 most of these people are no smarter than you. And a large majority of these people are just plumb idiots. I said what I said. CNBC recently published an article that revealed the results of a study done that showed that 1 in 5 executives in the United States have psychopathic tendencies or is an outright sociopath. That doesn't mean they aren't smart, but it absolutely means there's something missing there, or there's a touch too much of something there. Either way, those people do not get to determine your fate. They still haven't worked out things for themselves. That's why it's important to believe in yourself, because a lot of these people are not coming from the same place or have the same intentions as we do. And a lot of these people who are quick to shoot their mouth off, quick to spout doubt all over you, are people who just lack belief in themselves or have lost faith in themselves or others and don't understand why you would have it in you. Maybe he had some kind of hang up about his body. Maybe his double chin was double chinning that day. Maybe his nasty brown teeth were particularly brown. Maybe they were a hue of taupe that he didn't quite like. Whatever it was that got him up on the wrong side of his nasty cold bed that day, he decided to take it out on Jamie Kern-Lima with her beautiful self, with her competent self, with her capable self, with her successful self, with her creative self, with her beautiful, bubbly, happy, intelligent self. And he decided to bring her down a notch because he likely felt like crap. And when people do that, it's imperative that we have that same reaction that Jamie Kern-Lima had with her intuition that immediately guarded her and protected her of this person who was simply spouting their own inadequacy complex and said, no, Jamie, no, don't listen to this fool. She saw him for the fool that he was, so much so that she didn't even allow that to get her out of her character, which, Jamie, I need to learn a thing or two from you, which is why I'm so glad I ordered your book, Worthy, and it's on the way, because the way I would have probably let that be the moment I unzipped and lost my cool and became a little bit unraveled. I'm so proud of you for holding your composure, because not only did what he say make him look like the idiot, but the fact that he didn't even have the power to control your mood showed him just how insignificant he really is. You won that battle, whether you felt like it or not. You won the battle, then you doubled back and won the war. And that man has to live with himself. And we later learned that man's fate. But that man has to live with himself that he not only said that to you, but that he looked like an absolute idiot in front of one of the most successful people to ever enter the cosmetics industry. He met you at a different part of your journey, but he did not determine your journey. And Jamie Kern-Lima and whoever else is out there who might have endured a comment like this, or a word like this, or a smirk like this, or overseen an email like this, or overheard a conversation that painted them in this way, whoever might be out there who might have endured some kind of criticism, especially of this nature, or just a no in general, please recognize Jamie's response and adopt that. Because when I tell you no one knows you better than yourself, no one can tell you who you are and what you are capable of. Most people don't even know themselves. How in the hell could they know you well enough to not only know what you're made of, but determine your limitations? They don't have that power. They don't even have that kind of dominion over their own life. Do not give them that power. And when Jamie Kern-Lima said her instincts, which have led her this entire path, Jamie Kern-Lima continues to recognize how her intuition has guided her path, and look where it led her. But let me just say this. Her intuition jumped right in front of that bullet and said, we won't have any of that here. Can you imagine if that was the last time she dared to show up in front of a group of people to push her product and sell her dream? Can you imagine if that man was the last no she heard? Then that would have been the end of It Cosmetics. Millions of people would not have access to this incredible product and the amazing effects that it's having on people, the confidence that it's giving people. And not only that, but Jamie herself might not be in position to be sharing these amazing thoughts and stories and her wisdom and her just overall positive personality with the world, because one person waking up on the wrong side of the nasty, disgusting bed decided to share his lack of faith and lack of belief in himself and project that on an innocent party who was going places. He said that comment, he made that comment in such a tacky way. He was so uncouth. How dare you judge someone's ability to create a product on their body, on their weight? I want to see him tip the scale. Let me see you first thing in the morning. I want to see what the number on your scale looks like. Are you letting those pants out? Let me talk to your tailor if you have a tailor. And let me ask him how many times you've let a suit or two out. Let's find out more about you while you're trying to criticize and cut down Jamie Kern-Lima, this absolute gem of a woman. You're cutting her down regarding something that has nothing to do with her damn product. Meanwhile, you're probably sitting over there looking like, who shot John? How are we going to do right? I do not like people who make needlessly cruel comments, and her body and her weight are just fine. Jamie Kern-Lima is gorgeous. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter if she is gorgeous or not. She has the right to exist and push her product without somebody weighing her, mentally weighing her, and then making a determination on behalf of all women. And you're not even a woman your damn self. How do you know what we'll buy? Clearly, you were wrong. They've since made peace. But I heard this story today, so this is fresh on my mind. He's just going to have to endure, because that was wrong.
Don't try to book the part, just try to book the room. Meaning, there's always going to be a room full of people, and especially in business, as you're pitching, some of those people from Sephora will probably end up at Ulta, and some of the Ulta people end up at a hedge fund, and some of those private equity people end up at that VC company. And you might not be right in that exact moment for that part, for that pitch, if we're making the analogy. But one of those people in the room will likely remember you. And when your journey takes you somewhere else and your paths cross, you may have not booked that part. You may have not gotten that exact pitch, but you've booked something in that room so that they've remembered you, your essence, your product, what you can bring to the table, and to try to see those opportunities even when there's a no.
Yeah.
The no is a no for right now.
Yeah.
Or it's a not yet,
Yes.
but it could still be with one of those people who's present to him saying that to you.
Get in the room. Get in the room. One thing that I tell people, one of the young ladies that I mentor, I say this to her sometimes when she has self-doubt. I say, you already have the job. It's up to you to either take it or not. And when you go in that room, you have to operate as if the job is already yours. Wow them. They're not wanting to continue looking for someone. They want to hire you. They're not trying to make you do a bad job at your interview. They are hoping you do a good job more than you are because they're tired of the recruiting process. Hiring and recruiting can be a very tedious job. They're wanting you to do a wonderful job. They don't want you to let them down. And if they invited you to that interview and gave up time during their day, they want you to wow them. They want you to do a good job. So operate as if everybody in that room is already cheering for you because they are. And maybe that opportunity isn't the one that you're perfectly aligned for, but maybe there is one that's coming down the pipeline that you will be. So wow them every time.
That these words, like they hit me that yes, you cannot fake authenticity. Customers are smart. And while authenticity alone does not automatically guarantee success, inauthenticity guarantees failure. Like every time,
yes,
over time, right?
But you raised such a good point, because I think especially when there are lots of opinions and you're grappling and you're trying to figure it out, it's like, when do you trust your gut or when do you trust the advice? And especially if you enlist someone to be an advisor.
I love that quote. Authenticity does not guarantee success, but inauthenticity guarantees failure. She's absolutely right. That's the last thing you want to do, is miss an opportunity because you didn't trust yourself. And I feel like every adult has a moment or two in their life where their gut was screaming at them, and because of their self-doubt, they failed at something. And it's like, I can fail and take it on the chin if I failed on my own. But when I take someone else's advice over mine, or when I second guess myself and opt for a safer route and fail, it makes me feel really frustrated because I had the right answer and I still went against myself. That is one of the best teachers, to have faith in yourself. But also Jamie Kern-Lima, she's telling a story of when she had one shot on QVC and the way she wanted to market the product differed from the way that her consultants wanted to market the product. And she took a leap of faith and she won big. She sold out of her entire stock and continued to go on to break several QVC records. And I love that she trusted herself. Something yet again throughout this entire podcast episode we hear her say is, her intuition spoke to her. She trusted her intuition, that feeling again. And she established in the very beginning of the episode that she feels her intuition is God communicating with her. And I absolutely agree with that. You have to be true to yourself. It's one thing to get advice from people. I think advice is great. It can help you to look at things from a different angle. But at the end of the day, your decisions are your decisions, and you are the only one who has to live with them in most cases, or the people you love. So make sure that you are operating from a place that you can be happy with whatever the results are based on your decision. That will coat every decision you make when you remember that you're the only one who really has to live with them. Another thing that I noticed when she was talking about marketing her product on different skin tones, on different skin types, on different ages, when she was talking about marketing her product, the way that she was doing it is kind of the way it's done now, but she was essentially a pioneer in that. At the time, people marketed makeup and skincare products and beauty products on people who had, quote, unattainable beauty, somewhat like a model. Y'all remember Victoria's Secret back in the day used to be a far cry from Victoria's Secret now. And they never shied away from the model-esque person. Actually, Victoria's Secret model is a certain type of body. And so back in the day, diversity was frowned upon. Everyone was the same skin tone, everyone's the same body type, everyone had the same kind of face, everyone had the same hair, etc. And so it's great to hear that Jamie Kern-Lima was part of the push to diversify, but she wasn't doing it as a marketing ploy. She was doing it to show how her product worked on everyone. Inclusivity for the sake of inclusivity, so that everyone can partake in her product. She didn't use diversity as a token to market. She marketed her product diversely so that everyone could enjoy her product. That is how it's done. She didn't use the black skin and the brown skin and this face and this age as a marketing ploy, which a lot of brands do. I feel like some brands can placate their audience or their customer base, and they give you diversity just for the sake of having a face on there that might help you resonate with their product, not because they actually want to serve you as clientele. And that is a far cry from what we hear Jamie Kern-Lima doing. She wants her product to work for everyone. And once it did, she wanted to show that her product worked for everyone. That markets itself. I also wanted to point out that the guy who rejected her from QVC the first time, he is now on her board of advisors, which I found that to be so interesting. She also noted that 6 years after this situation with the guy who told her women would not want to purchase makeup from someone with her body and at her weight, sold her company for over $1 billion. You better work, Jamie. 6 years after that, he emailed her or sent her a message. I don't know if it was an email, but he sent her a message saying that he was wrong and he congratulated her on her success. And she still handled it with such tact and classiness. I don't know if I would have responded. I like that she is intent on not burning bridges because, girl, I'll be carrying matches with me everywhere I go. And that's something I'm working on. No one's perfect, but that's my issue right there. That's my bailiwick. She ended up getting the apology and the acknowledgement that what he said to her was wrong and that his perspective was wrong. Not enough people get that apology. So I'm glad he did apologize, and I'm glad he did acknowledge it, and I'm glad he congratulated her, because a lot of people would have just hung their head and not been accountable. So good for him on that. I'll give him that. But one thing I will say is I love that Jamie Kern-Lima did not stop or pause or wait or hold off on any damn thing, waiting for that apology, waiting for that acknowledgement, waiting for that validation. She continued on her path. She didn't need it. She had herself and her husband and her product, and that was all she needed. She had faith in what she had already established and built. She believed in herself, and look at where it took her. She didn't wait on the apology. She didn't need closure. She didn't need the understanding. She didn't need to stick it to him. She didn't need to prove a damn thing to him. He was insignificant in her journey. Insignificant. And she didn't wait on that apology before she got started again. She just kept going. And I hope that's a message to anybody, because it can be difficult to exist knowing that somebody has wronged us or done something to us. And it can be really hard to move forward without that apology, but it is imperative that you move forward whether or not you get that apology. Sometimes we have to accept the apology that we never received, because it's not about them, it's about us. And one monkey don't stop no show. For them to do something that needed an apology in the first place certainly tells you that they are not worth the time to even hold up another second of your life before you get to where you're going. Stay the course. You don't need that apology. You don't need that validation. You don't need that pat on the back. It's certainly nice when we get that. It's the cherry on top, though. The ice cream sundae still exists whether there's a cherry or not. So you have the substance. You have everything you need to make it in this world and do whatever it is that's on your heart. If the vision was put in your mind, then it was put on your path. Go get it. It's already yours. Something Jamie Kern-Lima said that I loved is, had she gotten one of those initial yeses that she was looking for, she would have done so from a place of desperation and excitement to just have an opportunity. And she likely would have accepted a deal that was much smaller than the one that she eventually got. And so she got the right yes at the right time, because the no's only occurred because that's not what was right for her. Something much, much bigger was coming for her. So she just had to wait. And she ended up making a lot of success for herself. So when we get those no's, we have to appreciate those just as much as the yeses, because they keep us on path. And look at where it led her.
I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show.
This was a very good episode. Now, one thing I will say is the fact that I have recapped 2 conversations with Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and Jamie Kern-Lima of It Cosmetics. 2 conversations in the span of 2 days, and they were nothing alike. Now, when she was talking about all of the rejections that she was getting, especially when her hopes would build up and then she would get that visceral no, that, at one point it did start to kind of make me choke up a little bit, because I was like, there were moments where she was telling a story and I'm like, I just knew that was it. That had to be difficult. I mean, in some of those cases, she had it all on the line. And when she described just trying to get out of the building and get far enough away so that she could just cry, we have had those moments. So many of us have had those moments, and they're difficult, but you get through them. And again, look at where they led her. This was an incredible interview. I enjoyed every second of it. I hope this is not the last one that they do together. I want to see more public conversations with these two. I feel like they bring a lot out of one another, and the way they communicate, the stories that develop or the stories that they tell together. I'm excited for the rest of the episodes of Confessions of a Female Founder. This is an incredible, incredible podcast. I have enjoyed so much of it just for the sake of entertainment, but I am also learning a lot. I'm excited that this week I was introduced to Jamie Kern-Lima, and now I have been spending the rest of this week just kind of looking at her interviews and things like that. That has been such a good time. She is a very good interviewer. She's a very good speaker, and just overall, she's entertaining and easy to listen to. So that is all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed this recap. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like, subscribe, and share, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.